Christmas Eve.
Hey there, Toonami faithful, and welcome back aboard Toonami Absolution, where we talk about the shows that made us us and the shows that made you you. Continuing with our holiday edition. Once again, we are your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John. Justice League Comfort and Joy, the 47th episode of the Justice League animated series, making its Christmas debut on December 13th, 2003. So it actually was a Christmas special.
Yeah,
Alyx?
this is the. Oh, yeah, no. Let's go into Alex's rationale first.
So first of all, I love Justice League. Second of all, me and my dad, because we're both very bad at being Jewish. My dad's family is Jewish, my mom's family is Catholic, and we have a tradition on Christmas Eve where we watch two things. We watch Trouble with Tribbles from Star Trek: The Original Series, and we watch Comfort and Joy from Justice League. And I've always really loved what Paul Dini and Bruce Timm did with the DC animated universe, and I really love Comfort and Joy. I think the character moments are great, the animation is great, and Superman still believes in Santa Claus, and that makes me very happy.
But he has met him canonically, so
He has canonically met him, yes.
Yeah. This is also the last episode before the three-part finale.
oh,
It is.
So it's that
And where
last
things
little bit.
really get rough.
Yeah. It's the breather between you had the two-part Joker takes over the Royal Flush Gang in Las Vegas, this, and then the three-part, like, this one's for all the marbles before we rebrand as Justice League Unlimited. Cool.
yeah, because the Royal Flush one is the really depressing one with 8, isn't it?
So the really depressing Royal Flush episode is actually part of JLU.
Oh,
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the Joker leads the Royal Flush Gang, and it's awesome.
I just see DC and the word ace, and I just have PTSD flare-ups. It's like, oh no.
Yeah. Also, name of Batman's dog. But
It is.
Which is
Yeah,
why
It's the Bat Hand.
yeah.
But so this episode is split into three very cute and interesting little vignettes. One is with Martian Manhunter going home to Clark Kent's house to experience Christmas for the first time. The other one is with Shaira and John, the Green Lantern at the time, enjoying some holiday spirit in some interesting ways with a little sneak preview of Vampirella showing up in the background. And the other one, which is my personal favorite of the three, is with Flash getting a gift for the orphans at the Star City Orphanage and having to team up with Ultra Humanite for it. And I really like that one because Wally is so good in Justice League. He's so good. They do such a good job with Wally.
Voiced by Michael Rosenbaum of Smallville fame.
Oh.
Are you going to wash your hands? No, because I'm evil.
The Flash one has
who this is.
one of the best, has just such a good joke in it. I love when he looks at the little window display. He's like, I'm going to go right to the source. Cut to him in Japan. It's like,
Yeah. I also love it's one of my I love to text this image to my friends is Ultra Humanite's face at the end of his vignette where he's just like smug and like, so smooth, so ultra. Like it's yeah, I love that. Ultra Humanite, the original Superman villain. Though at the time he was just a mad scientist before before turning into an albino gorilla man.
Yeah. Not to be confused with Gorilla Grodd. Everybody messes those two up a lot.
that caught me in this guy. I thought this was Grodd for a while because they kind of have it weirdly in that Flash makes a whole point of like, well, I've beaten Gorilla Grodd, I can get your toy. So like, okay, this is gonna be jail Justice League's Grodd then, because we've kind of Chekhov's Grodd, but no, it isn't. So Chekhov's Grodd remained unfired.
No, yeah. I think we get Grodd in Unlimited maybe, but yeah.
We do get Grodd in Unlimited. He does show up.
Yeah.
Gotta get the
Maybe I
big
should
monkey in.
Yeah, if I wasn't committed to Space Ghost, maybe I should do just
But yeah, like I have a lot of things I love about this. The thing I always loved about the DC animated universe and what they do with Flash is that Wally in particular has always been so human with his villains. Like when he's talking to when he's talking to Ultra Humanite about, what it feels like to be a kid on Christmas Day and manages like Flash's villains all kind of like the Flash, which I genuinely enjoy. Like there's like a soft spot for him, even though he keeps whooping their butts. Like, and you see this later on with him talking to the jokester, who is not the Joker, but they're both voiced by Mark Hamill.
Trickster.
Um, yeah, Trickster, sorry. And when he's like, "Hey, bud, are you taking your meds anymore? You're back in the suit, buddy." And I really like how they capture that energy with him and how it continues here because Flash is still kind of a street level hero in a lot of ways, and I love what they do with Wally.
One of the things I love about Flash comics is that the rogues, which doesn't include Gorilla Grodd, Reverse Flash, Abracadabra, a bunch of the more dangerous ones, is that the typical rogues, Captain Cold, Trickster, Heatwave, Weather Wizard, I could go on
Weather
for a
Wizard.
while. Yeah. They have an understanding. They're on opposite sides of the law. If Flash catches him doing something untoward, sorry, bud, we got to do this. We got to throw hands. But if nobody's getting hurt, no explicit laws are being broken, just you do you and I'll do me. And I always love that dichotomy in the DC universe, especially when you get Batman probably giving CTE to like dozens of people every night. Like it's a good contrast.
Yeah. Batman is body slamming a kid for littering.
Wally,
I played the
meanwhile,
Arkham
is
games,
just
I
like
know.
talking you through your problems. Like I also love that little moment at the end of the vignette with Ultra Humanite where he goes out of his way to get him a little aluminum Christmas tree and he has that moment of like, no, I had something like that when I was, and he has to stop himself and I and you see him like peek back in again just to see him enjoying it and I just love that. I love it so much.
Also, a nice
Yeah.
little Charlie Brown reference, which is always appreciated.
Yeah.
And then you have Christmas with the Kents and John finding out that he has a heart after all.
Yeah, he goes to Christmas presents himself, which is that's how efficient he is.
He's yeah. I mean, but I love the idea that do you like the Kents still being alive in the Superman mythos? Because there's some movies where they're dead. There's some movies where Paul's gone. I like the Kents being alive.
Me,
I like Jonathan and Martha still being around. It helps humanize and ground Clark even more.
I have big feelings about this. I think that they need to be around because and I think that this little vignette puts it very correctly when they walk in and Martian Manhunter is like, I've never seen this side of you before. And Clark gets to say, yeah, I get to just be myself and be at home. Superman is the persona. Clark Kent is the real guy. And I don't think every superhero needs a tragic Batman-esque origin story. And not naming names, but I think that when you try to shoehorn that into Superman, you're missing the point of the character. And that's what I really love about the DCAU in general is that they take a character who has been maligned for being too simple or not interesting and they actually understand what makes him interesting is that in a perfect world Clark Kent would just be Clark Kent. He would just be a guy, but that's not the world he lives in, so he has the responsibility to be more than that. And I have big feelings about Superman, you guys.
The other one of here's a I was talking about voice cast earlier. Jonathan Kent, voiced by Mike Farrell, who plays BJ Honeycutt in MASH.
It's true.
So it's pretty cool.
It's a good choice.
But
Yeah.
how do you feel about Paul Dini's designs making Ma and Pa Kent still like ripped in their 60s?
Well, they eat a hearty, rustic diet.
I mean,
yeah.
to be fair, they were playing ball with Superman. You've got to get a bit ripped, else the ball will just go straight through the hand.
Like I love Dini's character designs. I do, but there is not a lot of body variation. It's either you are a Dorito or you are a sexy lady, and it doesn't matter what age you are.
To be
Those are the
fair,
two body types he has.
it might be all the lead. I love the thing to say, oh, like we wrapped all of his presents in like lead foil so he can't look through them. But I was like, that's a lot of lead. Like, how are they getting this much lead for several years? And like, lead handling does lead to some problems, hence Mad as a Hatter, because they use mercury and lead. It's like, this may explain some of the things they see in the DCU if those two are just every year rubbing a bit of lead.
They do probably recycle.
I would hope. That's
They
like
upcycle their lead wrapping paper for
what
Clark.
Clark is what in his 30s, like every year, say 3. That's still a lot. That is more than the safe dose of lead. And in case you're wondering, the safe dose of lead is no lead.
No lead.
Yeah,
Negative
zero
lead.
lead, kind lead. But the
But I love the commitment to that though, where it's like we want our super powered little boy to be surprised on Christmas. We want to like preserve his belief in Santa Claus. Like I love it so much. And like when Ma Kent gives John the sweater that was knitted with her community group, being like nobody leaves the house without a present. Like I love that. That's the kind of dumb schmaltzy nonsense that really makes me happy at the holidays.
Yeah, I wish we got more episodes like this at during Justice League. I like Justice League, but I tend to like Unlimited more because Unlimited's more episodic. We get more obscure characters like, Vigilante and Shining Knight. People who don't
Question.
even yeah, the Question, of course, who gets voiced by Herbert West himself in the DCAU.
My favorite superhero.
Yeah. Um, the a lot of Justice League is like multi-episode arcs. They're big, bombastic, like this is a threat bigger than any one of these heroes can handle by themselves. That's why we need to call in the big guns. Before we started rolling, John was talking about how like mythic the opening title sequences, like with the proto 3D like statue kind of like Art Deco
I
people.
totally forgotten that was the intro to this show. I was like, what? Oof. Oof.
He's got that rocking guitar over it, so that's how you know it's the early 2000s.
To your point about everything having to be a bit over the top in Justice League, you kind of see that in this episode. That whole bit at the start where we have the action sequence of they're saving a planet of little bug men from
Yeah.
crashing into Earth really feels like that was there because the producers were like, well, you got to have an action scene per episode. Okay, we'll just shove one at the start and then that'll do.
And then you get your bar fight in on the third moon after Shira experiences Snowball fight.
The planet of references, yes.
Vampirella being one of the billboards, even as a kid, I was like, how did they get that past the Cartoon Network censors?
There's a load of Flash Gordon characters in the background as well, which I wonder how many kids at the time understood references to Flash Gordon.
That's a Bruce Timmism, though. I mean, Dan Turpin's funeral in Superman the Animated Series, at least the original broadcast version, has the Fantastic Four and Stan Lee in it. I think the home video versions, they were like, we're gonna crop them out. Just like, oh, okay.
Our superpower is blurring.
Our superpower is the edit button.
Yeah, pan and scan.
Also, Kara being away to go skiing with Barbara Gordon, hilarious. Like, there's something so funny about the idea of Supergirl and Batgirl on the slopes together. Do you think Bruce paid for that?
Oh, of course he did. He probably wanted rid of them.
Yeah, he's Uncle Moneybags. He's just gonna. He enjoys spending Christmas in the Watchtower, frankly.
Yeah, he begged for it. Like they specifically mentioned that, Bruce begged to be on Watch, which I get why he would feel that way.
I guess in the 2000s, well, sending him skiing would fit his rich boy persona because skiing in the 2000s was the thing you did if you were middle class and desperate to look cool. Yeah, I'm not bitter.
I've never been skiing, so I don't know.
I was never good at it, guys.
I've never done it.
Oh. Me neither. I like my legs being where they currently are.
Yeah.
I played ice hockey instead.
We do actually know what Bruce was doing at Christmas, though, and Wonder Woman, because they're not in this episode. Paul Dini on his blog posted story cards for the production stories for this. And we know that Wonder Woman spent her Christmas in peaceful serenity and spiritual contemplation on Paradise Island.
Good. Well done, Diana.
And Batman spent this picture of Batman being fawned over by Zatanna, Catwoman, and Ivy, and he's offering them some more Batnog. And I'm calling it Batnog for the rest of the year.
I'm going to buy some Batnog after we finish recording, I think.
No.
Never leave the Batcave without it.
Yeah.
Look at like Zach. I get like Bruce is the thing for the ladies, but Zatanna, Catwoman, and Ivy would be a very weird Christmas party. Like Ivy's going to be complaining about the tree every 30 minutes. Zatanna's probably going to summon the devil.
Yeah. Also, like
backwards.
I could see, obviously Bruce and Selena have a thing, and I think Zatanna would tolerate that, but to bring in Poison Ivy to the mix would kind of be like, okay, now we're starting to get now it's
So in the Justice League universe, it's Bruce and Wonder Woman all the way. Like the romance for the Justice League animated universe.
yeah, yeah. Which,
And
I don't
And John has feelings.
Aye, she's clay. The clay
He's
does not have the
Galatea.
Rome.
well, I mean, it's love where you can find it. Speaking
Love
of
where you
love where you can find it, never never a big fan of the Jon Stewart Shira Hall pairing.
I didn't even realize they were a thing until they kissed at the very end. I thought it was just two aliens bit showing off their alienness.
it's a lot of that's a big plot point in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, especially when they break up after the invasion and then like they get back together. Like it's a very weird plot thread that goes throughout both of these series.
You see their kid in the
Yeah,
future
you see their
episode.
kid, and their kid is rad. His design is great.
So yeah, yeah. I was like the Justice League kind of 3.0 or whatever they called it. Design Justice League Beyond, I suppose, because
Yeah,
Batman Beyond's there. Yeah.
Justice League here.
Yeah.
Justice League gear, Justice League Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, well,
Tokyo
the
Drift.
the C is a Z, so it's Justice League.
Oh,
But
oof.
I do like the little like hive of scum and villainy that Shira takes John to. Like, and there is something very fun of like, I've got a day off and a fully charged power ring. What are we doing, baby girl? Like there's something very fun about that energy. I also I that was my Green Lantern that I grew up with, and I'm always happy to see John, and I'm always happy to see how creative that we get with the Green Lantern powers, like all the little hands sticking up out of the snow and like the launching and everything. Like I think the show did a lot of creative stuff with Green Lantern that a lot of Green Lantern media doesn't always do.
Yeah,
Also,
So
like, yeah.
that's
Well,
weird. I mean,
John.
it's nice to see a Green Lantern user. If someone remember the Green Lantern users are inherently powerful to the point of being broken.
Yeah, yeah. John Stewart, I think, is one of the more underrated Green Lanterns. I think at this point, especially coming off the movie, Guy Gardner is perfectly rated. Um, I growing up watching Super Friends, I'm a big Hal Jordan fan. But also reading the comics in the 90s, I also have a soft spot for Kyle Rayner. All the Earth Green Lanterns are
all the Earth Green
fantastic.
Lanterns are great. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff, and everybody's favorite Green Lantern, Booster Gold. Um,
Mm.
thank you, Green Lantern. Um, but yeah, like what I was debating initially doing this as a double feature with Christmas with the Joker.
Mm.
But then I remembered that Christmas with the Joker is kind of like it's a more scattered episode of Batman the Animated Series, so I really wanted to focus in on this one. And part of what I wanted to focus in on is that little moment that we get with John the Martian Manhunter. Man, that's gonna get confusing. And him singing his song while petting Sparky the Super Cat, and that schmaltzy little moment with the Kent family being like, and he said he didn't bring a present. Like, I I don't know why, but that moment always makes me a little misty and always has.
It's very
Yeah.
cute. Well, I found a production note for that, which is like, oh yeah, the Martian Christmas song was improvised on the spot, and
Hmm.
it's portraying it as like a like him improvising it was like a big thing. I was like, to be fair, it'd be weird if you wrote it down, like, like yeah, to say some sounds. Like I found it funny if you'd in the script gone, you must say "Zoop" here. If you don't say "Zoop" here, we will cut the recording and start from the top.
You will do this again.
Yeah.
Stanley Kubrick is in the booth, and he will not let you go until you get the Martian right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is Carl Lumbly who played Dick O'Halloran in Doctor Sleep as
Oh,
Martian Man.
It's
Yeah. All-star cast, honestly,
yeah.
yes.
with this one.
I also like talking of weirdness. On Kara's bed, she has a plush of Zook.
Yeah,
It
she's a
was
plush
Martian Manhunter's old sidekick from the 1960s, who was a
we get a
weird.
lot of we
He had
get a
a
lot of
lot of
fun Martian Manhunter references in his little bit, like the
yeah.
Chacos showing up.
He likes
Everyone likes
Oreos.
chocos. Yeah.
Well, they're Chacos. They were not
Oh,
allowed to be called Oreos
did
after
they?
a certain point.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. I've not seen this for a while.
Yeah.
Like
I
in the comics, it started out being Oreos in Justice League of America, and then there was a copyright thing
yeah,
with calling them
Nabisco
Oreos.
found out. Yeah.
Nabisco found out, and they were not happy for some reason, so they got turned into Chacos, and became his favorite cookie, and that is why Ted Cord and Booster Gold are not allowed in his office anymore.
Man, the Hydrox people really missed a moment there, didn't they?
They
Yeah.
really did.
I hope if there's ever a Martian Manhunter movie, it's just straight up Oreos. It's just make it Oreos.
It's just
Do it.
product placement wall to
I
wall.
mean,
Yeah.
I hope they do. I want there to be like a Justice League of America movie. I want to do like Fire and Ice and Ted Cord and Booster Gold and Martian Manhunter and Maxwell Lord before he shoots Ted Cord in the head, like all that kind of stuff. Spoilers for 30 years of comic books, by the way.
Which hadn't happened yet at this point in the animated series.
It hadn't happened yet at this point in the animated series, but we don't get Ted ever in the Justice League universe. We
No, I
don't. We
don't. I
get
think
Jaime later.
I think the only in the DCAU, because yeah, we get Jaime and Young Justice, which is its own thing. But I think in the DCAU, I think the only Charlton Comics characters we get are the Question and Captain Atom.
We get Captain. You see Hawk and Dove.
Oh, that's right, because they're voiced by the Wonder Years brothers.
Yes.
Yep,
Right.
the Hawk and Dove are there. Yeah,
You know, I have the first issue of Hawk and Dove, kind of.
me too.
Yeah, not that expensive to find.
I want to buy.
Hey, Charlton characters are very. There's something very fun about Charlton characters, and I'm glad they didn't let Alan Moore kill all of them.
Yeah, that was the original plan for Watchmen. They're all Charlton analogs,
Yep,
which
they
I
And then they were like, "Hey, we might want to do something with these characters later. Maybe don't murder all of them.
Yeah.
Someone tell the wizard in the writing room to back off a little bit.
Someone give him different names. Blue Beetle, Owlman. Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean,
But
the most famous Charlton character of them all now, of course, Peacemaker.
Peacemaker. That's true.
You know,
Like, I do love getting into some nerdy comic book nonsense with you
Yeah.
guys, but
I need to bring up the one thing I'm sad about this episode is that we didn't get Wonder Woman's Christmas because we could have had an animated adaptation of the Golden Age Wonder Woman Christmas comic book. Hello, I know so much about Wonder Woman, where it is
Yes.
said that Christmas on Paradise Island, they play the most dangerous game where all the women dress up as deers apart from one and has to round up and hog tie the rest of them.
Yep.
While riding Kanga, her pet kangaroo.
I love
I love Kangaroo.
I love Golden Age comic books. There's something about Golden Age comics that are just you
That one
can't
is-
you can't turn it down.
It's one of my favorites. I love the idea of William Moulton Marston sat in his office after DC told him again, please stop putting bondage in our comics. He was like, Christmas, the birth of Jesus, they all tie each other up. Merry
Yeah.
Christmas, children.
Just as Jesus intended.
Every year.
Like, man, so quick question to pose to the group. If you were gonna pick any DC superhero to spend Christmas with, who would it be?
The Green Lanterns would be cool as long as they didn't get too broy, but they could get pretty broy.
Just all the Green Lanterns at the
just a-
same time.
Just a frat
Just a
party.
frat party.
Yeah, just like they're creating their own like mixed drinks. Yeah, I could get pretty broy with the Green Lanterns, so that's a thing that could happen. I mean, Superman would just be wholesome. The Flashes would be cool, but I would think that every like couple of seconds that you would see one like disappear for a second, like, sorry, I had to like do this, and you're just like, okay, dude, we're just like chilling, like just like, oh, Wally, Bart, come on, Barry. Um, uh, it would probably be with the entire extended Superman family because it's a whole family now, or maybe Nightwing. If I had to hang out with anybody from the Bat family, the
In
most
Bloodhaven?
well, he's turned Bloodhaven around if you've read like the Tom Taylor stuff, but
Yeah.
like
Housing's cheap
Also-
in Bloodhaven.
yeah.
Housing is cheap in Bloodhaven. It is basically Hoboken.
Yeah. Old coastal town. Yeah. Sister city to New York that isn't Jersey City. Sure. Yeah.
How about you, John? Who would you
See,
want to spend
I would say Wonder Woman
DC Christmas with?
because she's my favorite. But then again, I've got to remember I'd have to dress as a deer and run around, and I think she is faster than me. I'm going to put money
And
on
you'd have to
that.
get hogtied by Wonder Woman in the woods of Themyscira.
Yeah, she'd probably break my spine now I think about it. Also,
Yes.
Themyscira gets blown up every other week now, so
And you'd also get to be bound by the lasso of truth, which could be cool, but
n-
also be a double-edged sword.
not when they're hunting. It's a different rope because it has a sucker on the end. It's a
It has to
different,
be a different rope.
yeah, different
Mhm.
rope. That'd be cheating. Can't use magic. As I said, Zatanna I was thinking of, but then of course Zatanna had that comic recently where she turned other guys into fish in a
Yeah.
mall, so that's probably wrong. I would say Harley Quinn because I think she'd be the easiest to deal with because she is the one you could fob off. What I have is a lot of DVDs. What Harley Quinn likes is children's cartoons. I think there's a crossover there that I could keep her quiet, but just long enough to get through Christmas.
You just have to make sure it's like more present day Harley Quinn and not the one that still like goes back to the Joker like a bad boyfriend. That would
That would be fine though, because I wouldn't have to deal with that. I could just
Then
spend
she's
Christmas on
running
my
it.
own.
Fair. I
Okay.
I would pick Superman. I would pick Superman. I have like I said, I have a lot of big Superman feelings. Actually, my dad very recently said that his big goal right now is to live until 2038. He has no reason to believe he won't because that's 100 years of Superman. So
Yeah.
that's his thing is like I got to make it to 2038. That's all I got to do. And I'm like, what about after, Dad?
Nope.
But nope. But yeah, but yeah, the main reason I wanted to share this with you guys and rewatch it is because it does. This is one of those things that does mean a lot to me. I love comfort and joy because I love getting. The biggest issue I think DC as a comic company has is something that has been said a bajillion times is that DC creates archetypes and creates gods and tries to make them mortal, and Marvel makes mortals who are trying to become gods. And I think that the Dini universe manages to make them feel so human, ironically, in the case of some characters, and bring them down to our level. And I think that Comfort and Joy is just such a great example of that. And also DJ Quackers doing the Nutcracker is fantastic. Like
Yeah.
what a dumb choice to make.
Also, I know now. I would hang out with the Justice Society. I would hang out with the JSA.
That's a good
Guy
pick.
probably has the good snacks.
Yeah.
Guy definitely has the good snacks. But since we're coming up to the end, what are your final thoughts?
I mean, it's a great episode. It really is like I say, there. I wish there was more episodes like it in Justice League, but when they were so committed to doing the multi-episode arcs. And maybe, I don't know if there's any notes on this that maybe they were like more episodes like Comfort and Joy, and that's kind of what informed JLU because JLU is a lot of standalone. Hey, we're just having fun with these fun characters that you might not normally see in their own series. I like to think that Comfort and Joy kind of informed that switch.
Yeah, same. It's nice to see these characters having some fun. It's nice to get some time with the guys we don't usually see. Like, really, the only guy we get here who's sort of a mainstay is Superman, and even he isn't doing very much in this episode. So it's nice to get give that B team. And something DC struggle with now is that the Trinity is everything. Every third comic is a Trinity comic. So it's nice to be like, hey, we have more than three characters. We can tell lots of varied stories if we actually pay attention to our own roster. I think that's what this shows. DC has good characters when they be bothered to use them.
Yeah. I will admit, like I said, this is a very deep seated love I have for this. I also do love that they don't go back to the Batman well for this episode because I love Batman. I love Kevin Conroy's Batman. That's my Batman. I hate how Batman has become Wolverine in like Sir not appearing in this comic kind of way, and I like this episode a lot. I think that the thing that the Dini universe did for DC and made pretty much all the millennials I know fall in love with these characters. Like I think that that's something that's so important, and we don't get the same kind of love for things like Comic-Con and DC Comics and all that without Justice League. And I think this and episodes like What Do You Get for the Man Who Has Everything and all those other episodes just show how much they understand those characters. But It is time for us to pull into our final destination at the Watchtower. That's right, it is time for us to disembark from Toonami Absolution. We want to thank you once again for joining us and talking about the shows that made us us and the shows that made you you. We have been your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John.
And we'll see you next time. Bang.